What's my line of work? My line of work currently is in transition, but it involves design and art. But yeah. What is my best attribute? My best attribute, I think, would be my curiosity. Yeah, I have a very curious mind, so I ask a million questions, but I feel like it keeps me in a humble space, and I always am learning about life. What do I wish people would stop asking me? That is an amazing question. I think the one question that doesn't irritate me, but I get tired of answering is, when am I planning on having kids? It's just a weird question for me. I don't think that I don't plan to, I just don't think that the timing is not working out right now. What am I completely over and done with? That is also an amazing question. I think I am just over capitalism. I think I'm over being trapped in this kind of consumer mentality. I think it's probably where a lot of our social issues stem from. So I think I'm excited that it's kind of slowly falling apart and unraveling. What is the worst thing about being female? That, I think again, just the social constructs that get placed on females at a very early age. I think a lot of the times females grow up a little confused. As a kid, you have all these ideas of what you want to be, but then you grow up and the world tells you being a female means you have to be very narrow, and you can't really do a lot of the things that you want to. What's the best thing about being female? Being female? No, I'm just kidding. I think the best thing about being female is just the energy that you carry as a female. I think there's a very specific nurturing energy that all women innately have, and I think that regardless of whether you're an astronaut or an athlete or a mother or a teacher, that nurturing energy is just born within you. Who has had the biggest impact on my life? I don't know if we have enough time to answer that question. But I would have to say that I had an amazing amount of role models in my family on both sides. My parents, they definitely did the best that they could with what they had, and it was plenty. And I think I had a lot of aunts and uncles that I was surrounded by that also taught me things that, weren't being modeled by my parents. So I credit, the people who impacted me. It was a lot of my family members. What is my biggest challenge in life in general? I think I recently discovered that my biggest challenge is keeping my own boundaries, which then kind of leads to the biggest challenge in finding a balance in life. But I think as I learn that, I'm understanding that the biggest challenge is literally just being present. What is the biggest lesson life has taught me? Oh man, I think the biggest lesson is that it doesn't matter what happens as long as I believe in myself and I know who I am constantly. Any situation is a learning lesson, and that good things are always to come, and that I don't always have to fear the ending of things, that I will always get to a better place. What word best describes me? I don't even know, to be honest. I used to think that weird, like, was the word that best described me, because I internalized that a lot from just people thinking that I was weird. But, I think unique is a better word. I think I'm learning to embrace my difference in how I see the world and how I view the world, and so I'm gonna own unique. Do I see an optimistic future in our country? Yeah, I actually do. I actually feel like we're living the future that people before us had imagined, and so I therefore am optimistic that someone, down the line would live the future that I see, and how I would imagine it. And so I think it might not be in my lifetime, but yeah, the future actually depends on our optimism. Haha, what is my ideal perfect mate? That's, poof. I don't know that there is one. I think I'm learning that the ideal perfect mate is literally just someone who accepts me fully. When I hear the word Enfuego, what comes to mind? I think fired up. I think that, it brings the emotions of being fired up, but it also brings an energy that just emits a lot of light. And I think that is definitely something we need in the world. Okay, if I was on a desert island, who is the one person I would want to be on the desert island with? I think I would have to say, like a great-great-grandfather of mine, or a grandmother, someone who could share some of the history that got lost, and just give me wisdom of whatever was going on at that time. If I was in a relationship with someone, would I want security or love? That's an obvious question. Love. It's not that obvious for some of us, but have I ever stolen anything? Is this a question because you want to know, or is this a question because no? Have I ever stolen anything? Yes. When I was in elementary school, I stole a pack of gum once. And it wasn't fun. If I had a superpower, what would I want it to be? Oh man, that answer is always changing. This is not the first time I've gotten asked this, but I think at this time it would have to be, oh man, I think it would have to be along the lines of emotional telepathy, trying to better understand emotionally what's going on with people, so that I can somehow magically, or with my superpower, offer some sort of wisdom to help that person. What word best describes my view of the world at this time? I think complex. I think there's a lot of layers that we're just starting to understand, and I think that we're um, at a time when the world is trying to show us some of those layers. And so I think it's the word that I would describe the world is complex, because I think we're starting to really be forced to understand that a lot of the things that are happening are very interconnected with everybody's personal stories, and how that has been woven together is complex.